being aggressive late in tournaments is often a way to accumulate a lot of chips and ultimately win the tournament. You know, think Joe McKeehan, think Scott Blumstein, think Hossein Ensan, think all sorts of other guys. Jerry Yang, I guess, did that.
I mean, he was pretty aggressive.
He was pretty aggressive. Anyway, that is a strategy that is viable, but should you do it all the time, Jonathan? That's the question we're going to ask here. Yunyi Liu is going to be aggressive. Martin Suzor has a lot of success. He's going to be passive. Who's going to win?
Okay, I'm just going to answer that question. You should not do it all the time.
Okay.
Don't always do it. But you can do it a lot, and then the question is, are there certain situations which you can take advantage of? That's what Yunyi Liu is going for right here.
Yeah, and we're going to ask the question, is this the time to be aggressive? This hand was suggested by Nakoball on Twitter. Use YouTube? Is that how we get suggested things?
No, it isn't. We use...
Well, I mean, YouTube links on Twitter.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Use Twitter to tell us what hands you want for the breakdown.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you today?
I mean, oh, give me a break.
This guy.
Yeah, anyway.
Swear to God.
I said it so many times it gets all jumbled in my head. It doesn't
Sure.
matter. Get on Twitter. We're the Poker Guys on Twitter. Suggest a hand using a YouTube link and a timestamp, or else we won't even look at it. That's the whole thing that I meant to say.
You can see how repetition really screws people up. Practice makes people worse. That's the way it works. Hey, here's another thing.
It's hurtful. I feel hurt.
Got to mention our sponsor, that's Nitrogen Sports Poker. They, of course, do casino games. They have sports betting and, of course, poker, which at the end of every month we have our special Poker Guys only tournament, only meaning invite only. You have to be part of the Poker Guys family to get in. And if you want to sign up for Nitrogen, the way to do it is to find our Twitter feed where we tweet out a link which you can use to sign up, and that gets you into this tournament and, of course, all other cool benefits from being a Poker Guys insider.
Yeah, you have to use that link that we tweet out or else you don't even get to see the tournament.
Yeah.
So get in there, get you some poker, enjoy.
Pretty close. Going to see some players raise, some decide not to. Looks like Suzor's coming in for the steal. 250,000 on the button. And Jack 9 in the big blind, good for a defend, off to a flop. And a little bit of something for both of our players. We got the flush draw from Suzor, Liu with the gut shot straight draw. Up against a very wide range calling in the big blind. We spoke earlier about good bluffs. Situations where your opponent can do lots of folding. This is certainly one of those because the big blind's calling a lot of hands. He's going to miss very often. And also it's good to have hands that can improve on later streets. This one, of course, the flush draw. So a nice continuation bet spot for Suzor to take. He does, 175,000. Having defended Jack 9, when Liu sees a board where he does connect fairly well, has a chance to improve, I think he'll be doing something other than just folding his hand.
680.
That's something other than folding. He's coming in for a check raise, 680,000 announced. Applying pressure to what is perceived to be a wide continuation bet from Suzor on the button. Let's imagine Suzor c-bets here with something like King 9 of clubs. He's going to get a very quick fold, which means that Liu's bluff is going to be immediately profitable. We can see that Suzor has a hand that's likely to continue, Queen Deuce of Hearts.
This could get very interesting indeed. Suzor calls the check raise, this hand going to the turn.
And 2 million chips already in this pot. There are some very fun turn cards indeed.
We often talk about, and usually it's me, gut shots being pretty cool hands to check raise, to include in your bluffing range on boards that don't have completed straights or flushes on them. Liu is doing that here. We talk about it on our podcast on Poker Time. I don't actually like it in this spot as much because of the board and the situation. What can Liu rep? And Suzor has so few blinds. I don't know. I mean, what is Liu repping here, Jonathan?
I mean, if you look at this board and situationally pre-flop, we're talking about 30 blinds effective. We can eliminate most of the strong hands from Liu's range here pretty easily. Like, He almost never has pocket aces. He almost
Yeah.
never has pocket tens. He almost never has pocket sevens. I think we can, for a lot of players, eliminate ace 10 as well. For some players, we can even eliminate ace 7, certainly not all. So he's got some ace 10, some ace 7, certainly 10-7.
Yeah.
That's kind of it for strong value. Like, I don't think he's going to have really good aces. He feels like he can check raise when, like, he doesn't have like ace jack or ace queen. I don't think almost ever that he would check raise for value.
Well, he also pre-flop probably
That's what I
wouldn't
mean.
have them.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
At the same point, there's a ton of straight draws on the board, and there's a flush draw. So if Suzor is sitting there with a made hand of any type, he can easily put Lou on that versus his value, which makes this not the best board to do this on.
Agreed.
And if he gets 3-bet, obviously Lou gets to lose the hand right now. If Lou decides to check call, though, he could win the hand later if Suzor ends up just kind of giving up on this board, right?
I mean, it seems like it makes a whole lot more sense to rep a top pair type hand, a weak top pair like ace 5 or something like that. The check call, it's cheap. You get to see what Suzor does on the turn. Once in a while, you make a big hand, which doesn't suck either. You know, you can make the nuts. I think any pair, any improvement at all, you would continue. Seems like pretty straightforward as a call on this specific board.
Yeah, now Suzor, from his perspective, should he consider 3-betting when Lou raises because he doesn't have any showdown value himself with his queen high, although he has plenty of equity against most hands? Should he just 3-bet and try to end the hand right here and kind of take his 35% if Lou happens to have it?
I think he should.
Okay.
He's got a lot of really good blocking type things. Not blocking, but in terms of situational blocking, right? Like, he's got top set. He's uncapped,
yeah,
and Lou really is capped, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. I think with the flush draw too, and no real showdown value, it turns out we are actually ahead. We'd be ahead at showdown right now, but no actual showdown value. I feel like a move-in makes a lot of sense. Sometimes, by the way, we get to be up against hearts and either get a call and it's great,
or a call and it's horrible.
Right. Or
that
call
could
it
happen
horrible,
every
yeah.
once in a while.
That's true, but it's really, yeah, no, that's true. That isn't as good.
Although, like all this said, I don't hate the call from Suzor because
It can't
Lou
be that
is
bad.
obviously messing around plenty here. Suzor could take it away on the turn with a raise
Right.
sometimes if he wants to. He has a good hand that can improve on the turn he has position. It's not the end of the world to just call.
I don't hate a plan at all of raising all in on a lot of turns.
Yeah.
Queen is one of them because Liu actually now turns open-ended, and if he wants to put pressure on a hand like ace 3 of clubs, then betting on this turn, he can certainly represent that occasionally he's made a straight himself.
But from Suzor's perspective, Spraggy still has the flush draw, now has a pair to go with it.
Yep, even more outs. If he was up against an ace, he can now hit a deuce or a queen to get there, to go along with his hearts. Liu not slowing down, 800,000.
And that's the weird thing from Suzor's perspective. He may be thinking about what cards he needs. The irony being, he's actually got the best hand.
Yep. And we may even see a situation where he realizes he has the best hand, right? If he's confident enough to say Liu is bluffing with 8-9 or Jack-9 or even a smaller flush draw, we may even see him hero all the way down. I think for the 800,000 chip price, given he also just picked up a pair, he won't be going anywhere. That is indeed a call, and this is a monstrous pot. 3.6 million chips, and we're off to an all-important river card.
Neither player has pot behind. Suzor the effective stack with 1.81 million, and he rivers the flush.
And it could be a situation where Liu attempts to represent that he has a flush. Some of his bluffs on the flop are going to be flush draws. And if Suzor gets here with ace 3 of clubs, it would make a hand like that a very difficult call. So Liu may fancy his chances of getting a fold by shoving this river. 1.8 million effective behind, about half pot.
I'm all in.
He's all in.
Shoves on Suzor,
Hard.
who calls
check.
all in with the best hand and will get a huge double up through Liu.
What the hell?
You just walked into it, buddy. You just represented the hand your opponent has.
Well, whether or not Lou's plan was good, he certainly wasn't up against a hand that it was going to work against in the end here.
Well, I mean, a heart doesn't come in, Lou's probably going to win, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be like a heart, a queen, or a deuce. Otherwise, I think he wins.
Mostly
so that's good.
Suzor folds unimproved on the river. Maybe he's seen enough of Lou to be like, well, I have to hold on with the queen sometimes because this guy's just completely
Maybe.
bananas. There are only 15 left in this event. It's a pretty high leverage moment. It's possible he would just give up anyway. I don't know what would happen there. But as we see, Lou was doomed. The question is, was it the right idea that Lou had throughout?
Okay, we've already talked about post-flop. So let's just talk about it from there on. So we've decided to make this raise. We got called. I think betting the turn is not crazy, but I don't love it, mainly because of the stack to pot ratio type situations where we can get moved in on, and then we're gonna have to fold a hand that just picked up equity. I think I like a check raise a lot more.
I like a check raise a lot more.
By the way,
well.
a check isn't the end of the world either. If it goes check, we can bet the river if we want. If we don't improve, you know, like we still keep our bluffs in our holster. But I think a check raise all in, it just looks super strong.
Yeah.
And it's gonna blow Suzor off a lot of hands.
Probably not the hand he has, but I think it's probably a better overall line. I mean, it does kind of suck that we picked up equity and we feel like we're obligated to continue, but at the same point, are there that many hands that Suzor has that he's going to fold on the turn now? Suzor could, of course, have made the nuts on the turn, which is unlikely but possible.
Pretty unlikely.
But he's not going to fold an ace on this card because still what Lou is repping for value is very small. It's not like he has queen 10. That doesn't make any sense, so we can't really add that to Lou's value range, right? So he's probably going to hold on with an ace. If he has a 10, a lot of those have a straight draw with it now. I don't think Suzor can fold those either, so he's got to have a weak 10 basically to fold. That's a reason to go for the check shove instead of for this continuation bet.
That said, if a queen doesn't come on the turn, a non-heart, non-queen turn, this bet might just work all by itself. Of course, he may not have continued because he wouldn't have picked up equity a lot of the time. So it goes both ways, right?
Right. And I don't know if Suzor's plan was to shove like we said we thought he should on the turn if he got continued to be bet into. But now that he picked up a queen, he feels like he doesn't have to because he has actual showdown value. It feels a lot safer, a lot less spicy when you got the queen there. Nice safe blanket feeling. You know?
I mean, it seems like you'd really put yourself in a classic game theory disaster situation when you move in where like the better hands are going to call, the worse hands are going to fold, and it's just poopy. Right.
Poopy is bad.
Right, and like if he has the king of hearts, he has straight draws, he has flush draws, he's not folding, right? Assuming he has two hearts.
Yeah,
the king of hearts, I should say. But if the king of hearts is part of it, he's not going to fold, and we're going to get ourselves in this sort of like,
it's an okay spot.
It's okay.
It's a pretty good spot, actually.
Yeah, okay, we got the equity there. That's fine, but that's like
you chose a really bad example.
Okay, I really did. That was a terrible example.
All right, but let's get to the river anyway, because the heart comes in. And we know it doesn't work out, but should Lou go for it on the river when Suzor has taken this line against his aggressive line?
Yes, I think this is a really good river to shove on. We are now trying to get a medium ace to fold.
Right, and we also block a heart. We have the 9 of hearts in our hand. That's cool. All of these things add up to, we have more hearts than Suzor does as played. Let's rep him right now, and maybe Suzor will fold an ace. It just didn't work out this time because it's never working against the second nuts.
Right, of course not. But this is like, most of the time, Suzor is not going to show up with hearts here, right? Like he's sometimes going to play hearts more aggressively on the flop or on the turn. This is pretty unlucky that Suzor actually has the queen deuce of hearts where he's going to, it's just going to be perfect for him.
Yeah.
So we mostly think this hand played itself, except for the flop check raise, right?
Yeah.
Like everything else feels pretty straightforward. I guess we thought the turn play by Lou was also probably a mistake.
Also, the river play was terrible. I'm kidding.
And we hate pre-flop.
Yeah, it's all bad.
No, we think probably a check raise works better on the turn, or at least a check on the turn and figure it out maybe sometimes is probably better. But there's mostly we think like, it's not crazy what these guys are doing by any means. What do you guys think? This ultimately ended up as a really sweet double up for Suzor. Do you think he should have played the hand like this, though? Do you think he should be re-raising all in on the flop? Do you think he should be looking to move in on the turn? What do you actually think about Lou's decisions on the flop and the turn? You know what we think, but what do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Also, check out one of our slightly older videos, but it's got a really cool name. It's called Fake Dolphin Trainer Folds a Straight. You should click right up there to check it out. It's another button versus big blind hand with a lot of aggression out of the big blind.
It's a little bit of a spoilery title, though, because now you know he's a fake dolphin trainer the whole way.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, isn't that awesome?
And by the way, he does train things. He's just training fake dolphins, not real dolphins. They're all like inflated dolphins.
That's not true either. That's also a lie. But what is not a lie is that we have a podcast. It comes out twice a week. It's called the Breakdown Poker Podcast with the Poker Guys. It's a lot longer than these videos. It's like 45 minutes to an hour of analysis, and there's twice as many of them. So if you want more Poker Guys content, that's where you should go. It's my favorite thing that we do.
It sure is. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, buy some more fake dolphins.